Hi, friends, and welcome back to Women in Wild Places. This is your host, Gabriella. Today I'm talking with someone I've been really excited to have on since the very beginning, Emily Jordan, mountain biker, mom, brand leader, and Beacon, New York local. Emily actually grew up in Portland, Oregon, and as a kid, she hated the outdoors, but somewhere along the way, that shifted. Her stolen commuter bike led to her first mountain bike, and now she is admittedly obsessed with riding. In this conversation, we get into how she went from intimidated and yelling only flat trails to obsessively piecing together tech features on rocky East Coast single track, what it's like to move across the country, land in the Hudson Valley, and build community by just walking up to strangers with bikes in a brewery parking lot, the Tour de Mont Blanc on two wheels, carrying a 40-pound setup over hiking trails, riding through pregnancy, postpartum, and now motherhood, how becoming a mom shifted her risk tolerance, her goals, and her relationships to guilt and joy. The power of hype girls, all women rides, and what it means to normalize seeing your mom absolutely shredding outside. If you've ever looked at mountain biking and thought, that looks incredible, but also terrifying and very gnarly, this one's for you. And if you're a mom trying to keep a piece of yourself alive in the middle of everything, I think you're going to feel very seen by this conversation. Thank you, Emmeline, for joining me today. You were actually one of the first people that I wanted to reach out to when I started this because I've always been really inspired by watching all of your mountain bike activities as a sport that I don't know much about.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored.
And as you, as an expert, I think that we met shortly after you moved to the Hudson Valley from Oregon. You
Yep,
were opening a business. You were very newly in this area.
yep.
So what spurred you to move across the entire country?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Portland, Oregon, and I've lived in the Hudson Valley for it's been 8 years now, which is crazy. But my husband and I moved out here to help start a coffee company. So that's what brought us out here, and we've been out here ever since.
I mean, growing up in Oregon, the way I imagine it is as a kid, you're running around in the rainforest and making fairy houses with like
Yeah.
little mushrooms. Were you an outdoorsy kid?
It's actually really funny because it's kind of a running joke in my family that I hated the outdoors as a kid, which I might be your only guest that says that, which is kind of funny. But I asked my mom about it recently, and she said that I just loved hanging out with my friends. And my parents I have three siblings. They would always take us camping and hiking. And this was before phones. And my mom just said that I really missed my friends. And so I guess I'm a good example of someone that can go from total indifference to needing something to survive.
That's so cute. I'm imagining you camping and being like, "Mom, I wanna call my friends."
Yeah. Yeah, I asked her recently because photos of me camping, I just don't look very happy. And I was like, why? Why didn't I like it? And she's like, you just really loved hanging out with your friends. And she says that she wished she would have let me bring friends with us. But, anyways,
Yeah.
I've come full circle, which I'm glad about.
How did that happen?
Ah, That's a good question. I have to give some credit to my partner. So, how I got into mountain biking, my commuter bike got stolen that I used to ride to work and stuff. And he surprised me with a Christmas gift with my first mountain bike, like to replace my bike that had gotten stolen. So, that's how I got into the sport. And at first, I was pretty intimidated by it. Infamously screamed at him that I only wanted to go on flat trails, like going fast and going downhill, like really scared me. But he was really patient with me and I just grew to love it. And now I think obsessed would probably be a correct word, but I'm very into biking and I really do need it. Like it's become something I need for my mental health to feel happy and healthy.
Well, like you were saying, it is intimidating. It is a
Mhm.
male-dominated sport. There's a
Mhm.
lot of gear, like technical gear involved,
Mhm.
understanding how to mechanic your bike,
Mhm.
the outfits, the shoes. There's a
Mhm.
lot to it. Um,
Yeah.
and you're moving fast downhill over obstacles. So,
Mhm.
do you remember the first couple times that you did that? What it felt like? Were you scared?
Yes. Yeah, I was very scared. I'm a pretty vocal person, like, still on the trails, which sometimes scares my friends because I'll be fine, but I'll just be vocal about something. So, yeah, I was pretty scared at first because I think there's a lot you have to learn about, like, body positioning, and getting your weight centered and not being back or forward too much. So, yeah, I think it is unfortunately an intimidating sport. But I think starting on rail trails, and it's so nice that we have so much networks of rail trails, at least in the Hudson Valley, starting at a place like that to get more comfortable. But yeah, I would encourage people who are thinking about it. A lot of times, local bike shops have group rides and stuff that you can do that are for beginners, which are really nice because everyone's in the same boat and they teach you the basics, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like breaking that seal. So you had someone who was comfortable with it, which is really nice
Hmm.
because they can help you teach you some things, and there might be built-in community there. But I know that you didn't always live in this area, so how was it for you finding people to ride with?
Yeah, it's actually funny because moving here, we didn't know anyone. My husband and I like didn't know a single person except our business partner. And we live in Beacon and there's a mountain here with a bunch of hiking. It's very well known for hiking. But we saw some people in this brewery parking lot at the bottom, like with mountain bikes, like having a beer afterwards. And my husband like went over and started chatting with them. And now they're like our best friends. So we kind of have a joke that like, he makes the friends and I keep the friends. Like he's like more outgoing to go talk to people he doesn't know and then I'll actually follow up with them. So we just saw people with bikes and started talking with them and now we're like very, very close friends, go on trips together and everything.
It's really
Um,
brave just going up to someone and being like,
yeah.
"Hey, let's ride together."
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's so intimidating. I wish I wasn't because once you meet people, I don't know if it's similar in trail running, which funny to me, trail running's intimidating, but probably before you know anyone to go on runs with, it's kind of intimidating to take the first step.
Yeah.
So that's why I love like local like outdoor shops or bike shops. Like Bikeway is a great group of bike shops around here that they plan like weekly rides. So it allows people who might not know anyone to ride with other people.
Yeah, just get networked in, and I know a lot of the bike shops in this area, in the Catskills and the Hudson Valley. They do group rides, like the Woodstock Bike Shop. They even rent bikes, so you could rent a bike to
Uh-huh.
try it out. I've only gone a couple times myself and did rent bikes in different places where I was exploring, and for me, same thing. I'd never really done it, and I'd only ever ridden a bike around town or on a rail trail, pretty flat,
Uh-huh.
so such a new experience, but it was so thrilling. I mean, the
Uh-huh.
stuff I was going over was probably, like, an inch or 2 compared to the stuff that you're doing, but I know how it felt for me, which was so exciting and also scary.
Uh-huh.
So, how do both of those things exist in your mind, the thrill of it and the fear of it?
Yeah, I think there's something like addicting to being on the edge of something that's both enjoyable and terrifying. But I think as humans, at least I know I crave accomplishment and just figuring things out, like problem solving. And it's probably kind of similar. My brother's a big rock climber, and I know you climb. Climbing's like a puzzle that you have to piece together, and it's really like a mind game as well as something physical. So I think that's something I really enjoy about mountain biking is a difficult trail. They're called features. So there'll be different features on the trail and it's like a puzzle you can put together, like accomplishing one. Okay, then you have that one and then you do the next one. So it's really like you have a sense of accomplishment when you finish a trail that you've like been piecing together.
So, if there's a trail you're working on after you have a ride, do you go home and you're thinking in your head about next time how you're gonna approach certain features?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so nerdy to say yes. Yeah, or like if you don't finish a feature, you're thinking about it until you do it. And then kind of a good rule is like once you do it, you should do it a second time to ingrain that you can do it.
Like, get it into your body and have it be less of what you're thinking,
Yeah,
'cause
ingrain
there
like the confidence that you can do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that is a lot like climbing, actually.
Mhm.
The mind puzzle, and then you're replaying in your head certain body positioning and
Mhm.
trying to figure it out in your head, but it's related to
Mhm.
the movement of your body, so it's your whole being, your brain
Mhm.
and your body, and then just the energy that you put towards it.
Mhm. And I think that's one of the amazing things about mountain biking or climbing or trail running is, like, it's a whole body experience, and it helps you escape, for lack of better words, like, maybe the things you're stressing out about. I think mountain biking gives me a lot of clarity. It's helped me through a lot of really difficult times in my life just to be able to be in nature, smell, hear. It's like a full sensory experience and to be able to focus on something that is not your 9 to 5 or your stressors, and at the end of that, feeling refreshed and revived and ready to take on your work or whatever it is.
That's so multidimensional because you have your physical body, you're paying attention to what you're doing, and you have a community on top of that. So
Mm,
it really does pull you out of your normal obligations for the moment. You can really be present. And even
mhm,
just the few people I've talked to so far about whatever it is their thing is, that's kind
mhm,
of the same thing we all come back to is anything challenging or difficult and that you're putting your whole effort into, it is a forced meditation. And
mhm.
that in itself is addicting because you're able to clear your mind.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think for me personally, there's also an added difference of exercising in the outdoors versus inside. There's something about like fresh air and the smells, like the pine and the wet leaves and the sounds of the creek and the rocks tumbling under you. For me, that's like an added dimension that I need that I don't get from taking a cycle class inside. I wish I did because the winters.
Right.
Yeah, it's a different experience that, like, I would definitely encourage everyone to try. There's just something about being outside in nature.
Do you have certain places you like to go to over and over again? Or do you like to go to new places, or is it a mix of both?
Well, Beacon's really convenient because I can ride from my house, which I'm so spoiled, and that's amazing because especially having a daughter, that cuts down the travel time of having to drive somewhere with my bike. So that's amazing. My family also likes to take trips like to new destinations to mountain bike. Like we love going to Vermont. And obviously when we go home to Oregon to visit family, it's a completely different style of trail, so it's really fun to go ride back there. So yeah, we love trying new places, but I also do ride Beacon a lot because I can just leave from my yard, which is awesome.
I would say it's similar for me with, running. It's so nice that I can hop on trails right from my house because, like you said, it minimizes travel time, and there's something really comfortable about a trail that you get used to, and you
Mhm.
know what it's gonna be like, but then there's the added excitement or thrill or curiosity of trying out a new place too.
Mhm. Mhm. Definitely.
Just for the audience, I do ask, people I'm interviewing to send me some photos, and just going back to your daughter, one of the photos you sent looks like that was when your now 1.5-year-old Delilah was
Mhm.
in the oven and you're on your bike.
Yes. Yes.
I love
I think I
it.
was stretching in that photo because my hips were so tight from the belly and being hunched over. I had to take a stretch, and so that was the photo.
It's so impressive. How did pregnancy and postpartum and now motherhood change your relationship with mountain biking?
Oh boy, now we're getting into it. Uh, yeah, I think it's definitely changed a lot, and you're a mom, a fairly new mom like me, so I'm sure we have a lot in common, but I think it's changed my mentality a lot. I've always been kind of a competitive person, mostly with myself, but also with others, I would say. But since having my daughter, the risk is just so much higher, especially with mountain biking and especially on the East Coast where it's really rocky and technical. Crashing and breaking something is just not really a possibility, or at least I want to prevent it, like to help take care of my family. And so I think it's shifted from I used to kind of like, how fast can I go? Want to beat my times, like being competitive with myself, like how fast, how gnarly a trail can I do? And I've totally shifted. I would say that those aren't my main goals. Like now it's being with my friends outside, getting a good workout in, doing something I love. But I'm definitely more risk adverse, I would say, for better or for worse. I think once she's older, maybe that will shift again. But her being so young, I just can't imagine some of the injuries I've had in the past, like having those and trying to take care of a dog.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to have to deal with something like a broken arm on your own, but to have that and have to pick up your daughter, take care of her, feed her,
Yeah.
it does not sound fun for
Yeah. Yeah.
anyone. I can totally relate to that. I feel similarly with a lot of the activities that I do, and I'm sure there's some biological function behind that that's like,
Mhm.
"Chill out, you have a baby to
Protect
take
the
care
family.
of."
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's cool because 'cause you're still keeping your relationship with mountain biking alive, it's just maybe changing slightly. And I would
Mm,
guess that to an outsider like me, it wouldn't look that different, but it changes your approach and your goals a little bit.
yeah. I definitely wanna set an example for her too. Like, I want her to know she can achieve great things, and for lack of better words, I don't wanna be showing her to be timid over things. I wanna show her to, like, take risks and be tough and get up when you fall and stuff like that. So, trying to balance all those things.
Yeah, what a gift to give to your daughter and to any child, and especially a daughter, showing
Mm.
her you can do something that
Mm.
maybe some people would tell her, "You shouldn't do that. That's not for girls." And
Mhm.
there you are, shredding it on the trails, and that will just always be normalized to her, and I think that's really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, agreed. Same with you. Honestly, I think, someone once told me the healthiest thing for kids are happy, healthy parents. And that really resonated with me. Like, motherhood is the greatest sacrifice, but also the greatest joy and the greatest love. It's conflicting things at once. And so I have to remember that like, taking care of my mental health is really beneficial to her. Like, every time I go for a ride, it's hard to not feel guilty or feel like I should be with her or, how long can I be gone or what's going to happen when I'm like silly things that aren't really realistic. But really, the best thing for her is if I do go on the ride because I'm such a happy, healthier person when I do that.
I completely agree, and I fully relate to that. I mean, every time I go for a run or if I meet up with friends to go do something outside, I have the same feelings where I think, "Ah, should I be doing this? I feel a little
Mm.
selfish right now, where I
Mhm.
could be with my baby," but it's true. You're coming back from that, having done something beneficial for yourself, which you're showing her is important, and you're taking care of your own mental health, your physical health. We should be doing that, but it is hard because that guilt is real.
Mhm. Yeah, and it allows you to, like, be more patient with them or more loving when maybe, like, if you didn't get that exercise or get that fresh air, you just wouldn't be able to fill your cup that way, and it's weird because I feel like I know these things, and yet every time I'm like, "Should I go for a ride?" "No, I
Yes.
shouldn't," because it's so weird because like, you should, but it's getting over that hurdle, just reminding yourself of those things.
Parents, more experienced parents, let us know. Does that ever go away? Like,
Yeah.
do you feel that forever?
Yeah, right?
I know in my family, it's been interesting because both my partner and I, we have shared hobbies, which you have with your partner, and
Mhm.
there are times when we will trade off. So one of us will be able to go do something, go for a run, go climbing. The other one will be with the baby. Sometimes we do it together and we adapt based on the fact that
Mhm.
our baby's with us. So we might not be doing exactly what we would normally do pre
Mhm.
baby or with a group of friends. How do you approach that?
Yeah, I think similarly to what you said, a lot of times we kind of take turns, which is also a big shift, I think, in relationships that takes time to adjust to and figure out. Like you went from doing, like you said, I do have shared hobbies with my husband, like doing something together and having that be like quality time you share together to, like, never doing it together, or at least my husband and I rarely do. All our family's on the West Coast, so we have babysitters, but not as often. And so that's a big shift too, like, you don't really realize losing that time is a shift in your relationship with each other. Yeah, so a lot of times we take turns. This summer, we actually got a little travel trailer, like a camper. That was awesome because we were like, okay, we still want to ride our bike, we still want to go camping, but we have a toddler and we also have a 2-year-old dog who's like a toddler kind of needs a lot of attention. And so we were like, okay, how do we still keep doing what we love? And so that was awesome because we were still able to go camping with our friends, and then our daughter, I think it's made her more flexible, and she's seen us riding our bikes a lot, which has made her wanna ride her bike, which I don't wanna be one of those parents that shoves something on my kid, but she wants to
But
ride
if
her bike
she's
now, which
into
is
it,
cool. If she's into it, I'm not gonna stop her.
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so that's been cool. So we'll park that at bike parks, which a lot of times are at like ski areas. So it's like lift service. So that's really easy to take turns. You can park and like set up like a camp at the bottom. So that's kind of how we've been doing it so far, which has been working. But yeah, I think there's kind of mourning the loss of like doing those shared hobbies together. It's an adjustment for sure.
And maybe being okay with I've been trying to tell myself, this is kind of a phase right now. And the great part is we do get to have our independent times of still following
Mm-hmm.
what brings us joy. And eventually we'll probably have some more time to do that as a couple together,
Mm-hmm.
but just adapting, like you said, a camper is such a great idea. So you get to have your family time. You also get to do your own rides. It's different, obviously, but you're still doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know before I got pregnant and while I was pregnant, people would say things to me like, enjoy your freedom now. You'll never be able to do X, Y, and Z again." I'm not sure if you
Yeah,
had a
no.
similar experience.
Yeah, I got that too, which is so funny. Like, I feel like that's such an outdated way of thinking. You shouldn't stop your life just because you have a child. And I think some people just feel like your life does stop, but I think it just changes, but it's a beautiful change too. But I'm really grateful, like, for my husband. Like, he's always been a big supporter of, like, we should keep doing the things we love and just, like, incorporate our family into that. Like, why can't you try to do both?
Of course, like you said, your parents were taking you camping
Yeah, whether I
and
wanted to go or not.
yeah, and same for me. My parents like to tell this story of them taking me cross country skiing, and I was in this little sled they were dragging me on,
That's
and
awesome.
my arm was, like, hanging off into the snow, still attached, but
Yeah.
you just have to find ways, and you are. So, in one of the photos you sent, it's you with a big group of people with your bikes, with mountains in the background. Can you tell me more about that? And was that post the birth of your baby?
It was before, actually, so
Okay.
that was 3 or 4 years ago. So, yeah, that picture was the Tour de Mont Blanc, which is circumnavigating Mount Blanc, which is in, France, Switzerland, and Italy. Actually, the photo's all women, which is awesome. It was a combined group. There were 10 of us, 5 and 5, but it's most well known for the UTMB, which is a ultra trail running event,
Mhm.
but people do it on bikes, and we are some of those people. So, yeah, that was really the adventure of a lifetime, and leading up to it, I actually had a few injuries that I was kind of questioning whether I was gonna be able to go, and I'm so glad that I went 'cause it was honestly the experience of a lifetime. It was unreal. I don't even know how to describe it, but just being with like a community of people. I mean, you've done something similar where you're training for something with a group of people. And I think like the camaraderie that comes along with that is just like a once in a lifetime thing. Like we all grew so close and just sharing that experience. Definitely one of the most difficult things. Definitely the most physically difficult thing I've ever done in my life and one of the most mentally difficult, but really proud accomplishment and really glad that I did it because I was debating backing out, so I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, you shared this objective with the group, and then you get to be in the actual experience together and then relish in the accomplishment after. You mentioned it was difficult. What was that like?
It was difficult. So half of the people on the trip had actually done it before, like 4 years prior, and then the other half hadn't. And training for it was just physically difficult because you have your pack, which is like 12 to 15 pounds. You're carrying all your clothing and, all your necessities. And then your bike, which is anywhere from probably 25 to 35 pounds. And so physically carrying your bike on your back on top of your pack, like 40 some pounds, the weight ratio, I think for myself was really intense.
Yeah.
And the steepness of the grades and just the technical difficulty. So the whole thing is hiking trails. They were built to hike, not bike, and so they're, like, really technically difficult. So, yeah, the bike on the back, I don't think my shoulder will ever be the same after that trip, but I think mentally being able to push through that just helped me be really mentally strong and just such a gratifying experience and such a cool experience meeting so many people. And along the way, you can stay at refugios, which are kind of like hostels, and you just meet backpackers and trail runners and other bikers from all over the world and just like sharing an experience with them. It was really incredible.
What a cool way to travel. You're in a new country or an area that you might not have ever been in before with people that love the same thing as you, and you're
Mm,
suffering
mhm.
together. You're taking in the sights together. Mont Blanc is one of the most beautiful mountains to
Oh my
exist, right?
gosh. Yeah, and just being, like, unplugged. You don't have self-service. You're not on your phone the whole time. You can take as many days, people do it in different amounts of time. Like, if you're trail running, racing, you're doing it in, like, a day or 22 hours or something. We took, like, 5 or 6 days, so we took our time to do it, but you're completely unplugged, which there's something so special about removing technology from your life for a little bit and just focusing on the task at hand. There's something so healing about that. You just have to go a certain of miles that day to make it to your destination, and that's your goal, and that's what you're focusing on. And yeah, talking about it's making me wanna do it again, but there's something so, like, special about being in nature with people with, shared interests and being unplugged from technology.
It's almost like that's what we were meant to do.
Really, Gabby? Yes. No,
It's
seriously,
almost
it's
like
crazy.
it's that is our, default setting, and the way we're living now is a little disconnected from that.
Yeah, and I think it makes you refocus, like, what is the purpose of your life? And it makes you question just societal norms and everything in general, but maybe too much because 'cause you're like, "Do I really need a job?" But yeah,
Yes.
it was so incredible. It was really, really special and memories to last a lifetime.
Doing something like that and ultimately putting all of your energy you were training for months beforehand. There's the mental and physical preparation, financial,
Mm,
time, and then you're actually doing it and it's so impactful. And those are the kinds of experiences to me that make up life.
mm,
When you reflect back on things that you've done, that's gonna be a highlight for you.
mhm.
And I hope too that people can be more and more excited by things like that take you outside of the norm.
Yeah, the group all talks about like, okay, what's the next thing? A lot of us have kids now and we have shared values of wanting to do things with our kids. So it might be different. Like we might not be doing the exact same trip, but what can we do with our kids to share those experiences? A couple of my friends they were 1-year olds at the time. They were hiking it, but they brought their kids and they did some gnarly hikes and they had a great
Wow.
time. So yeah, just like we talked about, incorporating your kids into these adventures and, being a role model for them, doing those things so they have that mirrored for them.
And it's nice that you have that support in your group where you're kind of growing as a group, and it's not just that you're the one person that has a toddler to take care of. There's other
Mhm.
people that understand what goes into that and different, adaptations that need to be made in order to allow you to continue this sport. Has that
Mhm.
been helpful for you to have that?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've talked a little bit about having first, like, women in a shared sport or a shared outdoor activity is special. And then also as a mother, having other mothers in that shared is like a whole extra level because you just have that shared experience of wanting your kid to be immersed in the outdoors and outdoor activity, but also you understand if you have to bail on a ride because your kid is sick or whatever. So yeah, it's really special. I feel really fortunate because I know not everyone has that to have friends that have children the same age and have the shared values that I have.
Yeah, that's what was ringing in my mind is shared values. Because as you get older and you have more responsibilities and obligations, there's a smaller number of things that you can choose to dedicate your time to. And
Definitely.
what is it like for you riding with girls versus a mixed group?
It's so funny because when we reminisce about our best rides or like, "Oh, that was so fun when we did this." Oftentimes it was an all-girl ride or we were, like, in a girl train or something. I mean, I love my guy friends too, and a lot of times we do ride, like, combined, but I think there's, like, a special level to when it's all women. I think there's just another level of camaraderie, of support for each other, like, we'll stop and session features. Maybe the guys just wanna blast down and do it as fast as they can, but maybe there's, like, a technical feature that we wanna practice, and then one of my friends does it, and we're all just so hyped even if we didn't do it, that she did it. So, yeah, that camaraderie, there's something really special about that support that women have for each other and cheering each other on, and also just, like, having fun and not taking it too seriously, just being goofs.
Okay. Hype girls.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've got my hype girls, which I love. Like this summer, we had some great rides. We went to Vermont and New Hampshire, and I can remember very specific rides where there were like three of us right in a row, and you're just like screaming out of joy and stuff and cheering each other on. And there's just no better feeling than getting to the bottom and all doing the whole trail, one right behind the other. It's really fun.
Is that just the best feeling ever? Like you're bombing this hill and jumping over things, and your
I don't know
friends
about
are
jumping, but
cheering. You're getting over things.
yeah, getting over let's not use that word too loosely. Yeah, and seeing your friend do something in front of you leads you to do it. I ride so much more stuff when I'm riding with my girlfriends than if I'm by myself, because if I'm by myself, I can get in my head, even if I can do it. I'm like, "I don't know if I'm gonna do it today." But if you see your friend right in front of you do it, you're like, "I'm doing it."
I know that's how they say you can get better at anything is first do it in a group, right? And then do
Mhm.
it with people that are maybe better at it than you. I mean, I know
Yeah.
that's helped me specifically with things like climbing.
Yep.
The only way that I've seen improvement in myself is if I go with people that are grades above me and it pushes
Mhm.
you.
Mhm. Definitely. Yeah, and we're such visual beings. I think visually seeing someone do something makes you believe it can be done.
And like you said, get out of your head a little bit and go
Mhm.
for it.
Definitely.
'Cause obviously, there's planning and the puzzle aspect that goes on in your head, but there's a piece of it that you can only do with your body, and you need to
Mhm.
actually try to see
Mhm.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
How do you handle a bad day? Like, if you take a spill or something's getting messed up
Jeez.
with your bike, like, what's that like for you?
Let's see. Crashing is not fun. We talked a little bit about before that big trip, I had a couple of injuries. Like I got my first concussion, which was scary for
Oh.
me. And then I also fractured my foot training for it. So yeah, it's definitely discouraging. especially when you're training for something. Like I said, I was questioning if I was going to be able to go because of those things. But for me, I think for better, for worse, I've always kind of had a chip on my shoulder. And so I was determined to see it through and determined to go. And thankfully, I have a really supportive husband and friends that were there encouraging me and really there for me. And so I think it's really for me leaning on other people for support that really got me through it. But yeah, crashing does not feel good. So I don't recommend it.
But there's also a part of it that when that happens and you keep going back, it
Mhm.
kinda deepens the relationship you have with the
Yeah.
sport, right? Because 'Cause you've
Yeah.
seen all the sides of it.
Yeah, definitely. And especially going back to the place that you wrecked and riding it again is
Mhm.
yeah, it's good to do and get over that. But it's kind of part of the game, but it definitely can be minimized depending on your mentality. I was training and just going way too hard mentally, like looking
Te
back now.
Like, really testing your limits, kinda testing
I
your
was making
edge.
like not smart decisions. Like my concussion, I was riding alone and I was having the best ride. It was on weekend and I was just having such a good ride, like in a good flow and going pretty fast. And just thought I could totally launch a jump that I do not know how to do. And doing that alone is just not smart. Afterwards, my friends were like, "You're supposed to take risks on group rides, not on rides by yourself." They were like, "You have this mixed up." So it's a learning experience. So now when I ride alone, I take it super easy and I definitely take more risks when I'm with other people. So that there's a
It's a
lesson for everyone.
Yeah, it's all feedback, right?
Yeah.
It teaches you and keep those memories for the next time.
Yeah. Learned that one the hard way, but
You mentioned being in flow. Do you feel it every ride, or is it more difficult to get to that state?
yeah, for me personally, I definitely don't feel it every ride. I think there's just a lot of s compounding factors. Like, I'm someone that kinda struggles with anxiety, and so for me to, like, really feel flow on a ride, I kinda have to have dealt with those things mentally, I think. But when you do get into a flow and you are having a really good ride, it's like an amazing feeling. You just kind of feel invincible, which maybe isn't good when you're on a bike. Yeah, I think most of the time for me, it happens when I'm riding with other people because you just get to that level of joy and maybe just forget about any worries, even like trail worries that you might have because you're just enjoying being with your friends so much and you're just thinking about how much fun you're having. So
Mhm.
for me, that's probably what it is.
That's such a good feeling
Yeah.
to just be so in what you're doing.
Mhm. Definitely.
'Cause I know we talked about this a little before, but if you could give a piece of advice to women that are interested in mountain biking, but are intimidated or don't know how to get started, what would you tell them?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would definitely encourage them to try it because mountain biking has profoundly changed my life for the positive, and I think if I'd go back to before I started, I would never expect that because I was so intimidated by it. But I think I would just recommend maybe checking out a local bike shop and asking if they have group rides. If you're in the Hudson Valley, you can reach out to me and I'll help you. But yeah, in a lot of different communities through bike shops, there's a lot of even women specific rides, which is awesome and a bit
Mm,
less intimidating, I think, for women. But I would definitely encourage it. I can't imagine my life without it.
so awesome. What's the next ride coming up for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm a believer in that it's always good to plan ahead to have something to look forward to, which we need to do because now that it's winter, it's important to have something to look forward to. But we just kind of finished our end of the year event, which is fun event that we do on weekend. We really want to go to Quebec City, which is really not too far from where we live. There's supposed to be really good mountain biking and hiking there. It's really slabby, like big rock slabs. So hopefully that's our next destination this summer.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could take me sometime as someone that's
I'm
only gone a couple times.
anytime. And I think we still have my old bike that you could ride too. So
Perfect.
Yeah. You've got some good trails up by you, so I'll meet you up there.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Oh, it was so good to catch up with you.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I don't know a lot of badass mountain biker lady friends, and I think it's important for the world to hear.
I'm really grateful to be on here, and I love what you're doing. Women in the outdoors in general are badass, and I just love hearing each other's stories. And if anyone's listening and wants to reach out, feel free.
Thank you so much for listening, and a huge thank you to Emily for sharing so honestly about fear, flow, motherhood, and what it means to keep choosing the things that make you feel alive. What really sticks with me from this conversation is the idea of going from total indifference to needing something to survive, and how often that happens with outdoor sports. You start scared or unsure, but you keep showing up anyway. Maybe you crash a few times, but you find your people, and one day you realize this thing has actually become your life. I also loved what Emily said about motherhood. Healthiest thing for kids is happy, healthy parents. Taking a ride, a run, or a lap on a trail can feel selfish in the moment, but you come back more patient, grounded, more yourself, and that's such a gift to our kids. If today's episode sparked something for you, maybe you've been curious about mountain biking, or you're trying to figure out how to keep your outdoor identity alive alongside parenting, send me a note at womenandwildplaces@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this conversation, it really helps if you follow the show, leave a quick rating or review, and share this episode with a friend who might be looking for a little nudge to try something new outside. And join our community on Substack for episode notes, stories, and gear links, and hang with us on Instagram at Women in Wild Places. Thanks, and see you out there.